Hey everybody, you there? Tis I, Leon. It's been a while since I've done one of these solo, and I'm a little nervous. Let me switch to the chat room. Hello everybody. Scotia, hello. Jason and Scotia and Nora, and I think Kristen's here. Carrie, and anyway, how's everybody doing? First of all, post and tell me if you can see me and hear me and that it's all working. As it turns out, we could have done this at 7 because the interview I was going to do at 7 got rescheduled, but I thought it was a little too late an hour before to say, hey everybody, let's start now. So, anybody there? Oh, good. Can see in here. So start asking me questions. You know, I'm kind of confused because we just finished shooting season 3. So my head's kind of there. And I just spent last weekend reviewing all of the footage. So now Halloween seems like it was like, oh my God, that was years ago. So, so refresh my memory. What happened? I don't remember. Oh, let me turn that thing off. So, talk to me. Talk to me. Oh, thank you. Well, you know, I have to say, getting this MacBook Pro was probably the smartest investment I ever did. And thank God I did it when I did, when I could afford it then, could barely afford it then. But it was certainly a wise investment. I encourage anyone who's a PC to go Apple. Well, if you can afford one of these, anyway. Yes, I do. I did get a haircut. I did get a haircut. Slight one, because we're trying to schedule a photo shoot with the dogs. So I'm trying to keep it sort of in between Nathan and where I would be. I'm still at Nathan's hair color. I thought I just turned this down. There we go. There we go. So ask questions. Ask away. Everyone's being so quiet. I remember at the end of the season 2 finale, it was just like I couldn't keep up. Because everyone's like, oh my God, how could you do that? How could you do that? There doesn't seem to be such outrage this time. And, you know, I think after the drama and seriousness of the finale, there was sort of a subconscious thing about making the Halloween show a little lighter, a little more farcical. In fact, I worry that it might have gone too farcical. I don't know. Is that a newer one than we used in November? It's the same one. I just discovered you can adjust the quality. But the thing about Ustream, they've gone the way of just about every other website out there that used to be free and fun. I shouldn't say that. Bite the hand that feeds me. They've kind of upgraded now, and they really want you to be a pro client to have use of all their services. But it still works. Computer geek with me later. Hi, Kristen. Yeah. So anyway, no questions. Okay, costumes. Why each costume for each character? Well, I knew Nathan had to be Wonder Woman because I've had that costume for, oh my God, quite a while. Quite a while. See, I just light a cigarette and then just it sits and goes out. So I knew if I could still fit into it. I wanted to someday, like, I actually wore that costume in a film called Jack with Robin Williams. In the very first scene, it's this big costume ball. I think I was cut out of it, or if I'm in it, I didn't see me. I only saw it on a small screen. But at one point, Mr. Coppola did call me Linda. I was surprised that he actually places the background. And he took me by the arm and said, "This way, Linda." I thought that was really cool. My little Francis Ford Coppola story. Anyway, so Wonder Woman for Nathan. And, thank you, Kristen. I'm sorry, Scotia. I'm terribly. I should at least smoke this, but it's like, I don't know. The thing about e-cigarettes, I mean, they're fine, except, the thing about these is they burn and they're done and you go back to real life. These that you just can sit and next thing you know it's an hour later and I have people asking, "Are you on?" I can't see. I'm going to turn down the volume. So costumes, it's everyone's struggle, Scotia. The other costumes, when I wrote it, I knew that we'd have to put muscles in, of course, as little as possible. So a toga, of course, and for Ross, it just seemed like, well, a rabbi, why not? And it's that Mr. President, Hail Caesar exchange was one of those moments when I was writing. And this script was probably about, what you saw today is probably about half the script that I wrote 2 years ago in Indiana, and because of circumstances, half rewritten. But yeah, that was when it was really starting to flow, and that moment was one of those moments as a writer, as I didn't plan that joke or think, "Oh, what can I put?" It just, I wrote, Ross walks up, says "Hail Caesar," and it just, there it was. So anyway, blah 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 blah. I don't know. Writers are probably as bad as actors. So yeah, originally, let's see, Nelson. What was Nelson going to wear? Originally, oh, that's right. I wanted him to be in. I wanted. Seems so long ago. He wasn't. Nelson wasn't in the script that I wrote in Indiana. Actually, there's a long history of WeHo Horror Story, which I'll fill you in as I wait for questions. Nelson was originally going to be in Deborah Winger's Wonder Girl costume. And Nelson and Nathan were going to run into each other at the bar, and Nathan was actually going to throw a drink in his face. Anyway, the costumes. Originally, when Damien was going to be in the Halloween show, and I'll get to that when I get to the backstory, he was going to be dressed in a devil costume. But since I didn't have that, and, it's like, oh my God, Deborah Winger Wonder Girl costume, how much is that going to cost? But God love Bruce. He actually rented that costume himself because he wanted to, I love that about Bruce. He's very conscientious about how Nelson looks, and is always willing to go the extra mile and spend the extra whatever to, make that happen. Lydia, of course, I actually, when I was writing in Indiana, God, was it 3 years ago now? I was, when I could get an internet connection when I'd go to my dad's office, I did email Amanda and was telling her about the show and the scripts, and I think she had read some by that point. Actually, I think I asked her this before she'd even read any, but knew that she had a character for her, and I said, what costume would Lydia be wearing at Halloween? And she responded, Catwoman, of course, because the woman has 5 cats. You never know it because you never smell them. I don't know how she does it. I've never smelled the slightest bit of cat smell in Amanda's apartment. Yeah, wasn't Bruce's costume amazing? He actually bought it, and then there was some discussion about how we were going to shoot the bathroom scene, because originally in the script there was going to be a stall, and Nathan was just going to push Nelson into the stall. The door would close, and you would just hear it and see feet going up and down. But the location we found didn't have stalls. In fact, there is a toilet in that room. It is a bathroom, but it's not a urinal. But there was no stall. So, and God love Bruce. This is one of the great things about Bruce. director John Cleveland said, "Oh no, let's actually show it. And this is how I want to shoot it." And Bruce said he was willing to do the stunt, to actually put his head in the toilet if we wanted to get that in the shot. And we were like, no. And he kept saying, no, I will do it. I'll only do one take, but if you want my head in the toilet, it's like, no. And actually, the person I'm actually dunking, and Bruce again was all for it, and we almost had a revolt on set when we were getting ready to shoot that scene. That it's like, Bruce, no, you're not going to do it. So actually, John Cleveland, Bruce got a second. I think he bought 2 costumes, so he'd have one in case he got wet or ruined the one, the first one. And John Cleveland put it on, and because he's a very athletic, he just tensed his body. A couple of PAs flipped him over, and there's some great outtakes. Actually, we do have an outtake reel, which will be on the season 3 DVD on Wolf from Wolf when that season 3 has finished rolling out, and yeah, there's some funny outtakes. Well, not outtakes, but the camera was rolling as we were getting John into position. So, yeah, to have Amanda. Well, that's the thing about Amanda. She's not a cat lady. I hate to say that because there's that stereotype, but she replenishes her supply, I think. And the cats love her, and her cats are also really sweet. I mean, I'm not a huge cat person. I like cats if they're engaging, but if they're standoffish. But all of her cats are very sweet and very nice, and let you pet them, and some of them really are playful. And so yeah, she had to be Catwoman. So the backstory for the Halloween episode was actually originally scripted, was going to be about halfway through the second season. I don't know if you'll remember this far back, it's been a while, but at the start of season 2, Muscles kind of guilt trips Nathan into leaving that voicemail for Damien and saying we're done. And the Halloween show is going to come like 2 episodes after that, where they had just made up, and the boys are like, okay, well, you've got to go on a real date or whatever, and Nathan mentions to Damien, oh, well, let's go out for Halloween, and Damien has to work, and invites him and the guys to come to the nightclub where he's DJing. And the boys go thinking, oh, they can spy on him and get an idea of what Damien's like in his own milieu. So they go to the nightclub. All the Brad stuff, that was originally scripted, although Rod Rodriguez wasn't present. That was actually Steve Curtis, our line producer, executive producer, and assistant director. That was his suggestion, of bring Rod back and have him. Anyway, where was I going? Yeah, so they go, and then as they walk in, they see Damien's up in the DJ booth, and somebody else, a couple guys actually were up there with him, like kind of like trying to get him to make out or whatever. And Nathan's mortified, and they flee. And but by the end of the episode, Damien shows up in his devil costume. Actually. Here was the original. Do you want to hear the very original ending to this episode? The boys go to the hospital to pick Brad up, and the last scene was they're wheeling Brad in a wheelchair down the hallway to go to the car. And let's see if I remember this right. Brad's sort of like doped up, and he says something like, "Am I dead?" And the guys are like, "No, why?" And Brad says, "Well, then why is Satan waiting for me at the end of the bright tunnel?" And the guys look up, and there's Damien in his devil costume waiting for Nathan at the hospital that he had called Lydia and found out what had happened. So that was the original story. No, actually, the herpes thing was added too. I had the idea for the herpes storyline plot when I finished writing the original scripts in Indiana, and was still in Indiana, thinking, okay, what do I do if this has a life beyond this? And I knew I wanted. At the time, it was like a different love interest of Muscles, because Bobby wasn't going to be around as long. But I knew I wanted Ross to be really upset with Muscles' reaction, and then have him admit that he was in the same boat, and that it wasn't the end of the world. But anyway, as season 2 ended and things happened, and we realized Damien wasn't going to be in the show anymore. It's like, okay. Oh, well, at the end of season 2, we weren't sure if we were going to be able to raise the money for season 3. And if we thought, well, if we raise enough, then we'll just do the Halloween special as a finale. Oh, and the reason we didn't do it during season 2 was with the wedding episode and the Halloween episode, we couldn't afford to do them both. It was just logistically too big. So we're like, well, we'll do Halloween later. So at the end of the second season, when we didn't know if we'd be able to do a full third season, we thought, well, we can do a Halloween special as like the finale. And actually, as originally written, Nathan was going to find out that Damien died. That Damien had died the night that they had the argument. He had wrecked his bike. And I thought it was a good ending. Arvin... everyone else was kind of aghast. How can what if there is a life out of this? After this, you can't possibly do a comedy. And I'm like, Norman Lear did it all the time, but I was talked down off the ledge. And then as it became obvious that we were going to be able to do a third season, it's like, okay, well, let's kind of tweak it again. And so we did. So let's see. Did you have time to write questions? The season 3, oh good, well, one question. You can do better than that. I've been talking for what? Rambling for hours and hours. Season 3 actually takes up, although it wasn't this year, I don't think, in the Old Dogs universe, this Halloween was on a Friday, and season 3 picks up on Monday. So, no 2 months, no 1 year. If there's ever anything past season 3, we're going to have to jump ahead. Because you realize it's only been really from July to, so far, October in 1 year, over 3 seasons. So yeah, plus, as I was watching the footage for season 3, which looks great, oh my God, I can't wait for people to see it. I kind of feel like the president. You know how the president always ages rapidly as soon as he takes office? So my joke is if we have a season 4, Nathan's going to have to suddenly be 60 so I can look the part. Thank you. I didn't think that was a bad ending either. The way the ending was that pretty much how it plays out now, except they didn't tell him in the car. They actually got Nathan home. No, they brought Brad back to Nathan's house because, from the hospital. There was a moment between Brad and Nathan, which is actually in the season 3, the season finale, somewhat tweaked. Actually tweaked quite a bit. And then the other 2 dogs walk in with Lydia and say that they have some news to tell Nathan. And you don't actually see them. You wouldn't have seen the boys tell him as they were about to tell him the camera was going to go through the window, and you were going to see it but not hear it. And then a dissolve, and then pan back to the window. I can't remember exactly how it was, but then you saw that it was the next morning, and all the guys and Lydia had crashed in the bed with Nathan. That they'd stayed there all night with him, and that was going to be the last shot of the last show, if Halloween was going to be the last ever. So that's that. Ronnie Butler was great. He was probably the funniest. Maybe it's because I've done so much theater, but I have a bad habit of kind of judging how funny things are by how the crew and the background and other actors react. But I have to say, everyone, after the first take, I think we did 3 takes, and he did each one kind of differently. But everyone roared after each take. It was really great. And actually, I got home that night after we shot it and saw that one of the background artists had videotaped it on his camera, his phone, and had posted it on Facebook. And I thought for a moment, should I read him the riot act and ask him to take it down? But he's such a nice guy, and he's actually an actor in season 3. I just decided to keep my mouth shut and hope that it would go unnoticed, and it kind of did. So that was one of my favorite moments shooting the Halloween show. I need to open the door to ventilate the room. As you can tell, Lawrence is not here because I would never be allowed to do this if he he was. Smoke, I mean. If he was here, I'd be in the corner of the frame while he... Let me look at my Facebook page. Just advising someone who's having trouble getting on. This other stuff I can look at later. So. The scene. There's a lot of debate about the doppelganger. Even after we shot it. I know Arvin thought it was a horrible idea. He wanted to cut it out entirely. He thought that people would never, especially, our hardcore fans, I think many of them kind of know that we're never going to see Damien again. And he kind of felt like it was a cop-out. And he also, when he saw the footage, said, oh, he doesn't look anything like Damien, and no one's going to fall for it. And the point was, well, he's, my argument was, well, our audience, our hardcore viewers don't know that we're not going to recast the parts. So for all they know, let's play it up as though it very well could be Damien, and then, dump all over Nathan anyway. So that was that. I like shooting that scene, and Jeffrey Basham, who plays the doppelganger, is actually coming back in season 3 in a recurring part in the second half of season 3. He's a great actor. I don't think you'll even recognize him. I should have just kept my mouth shut. He was great to work with too, and he's if I had met him actually before I did the rewrites, I might have recast Damien, but I kind of felt like I did a couple of posting notices right after season 2, with the thought of recasting, and actually met a couple actors, and just from meeting actors, I kind of realized, especially not right away. Damien might come back if there's another season, not season 3, but in season 4, if, they go there. I really don't have any, I have a couple story ideas for Nathan, but nothing really, those plot lines. So it's always a possibility that, we might, never say never, we might recast it someday. And actually, Nelson wasn't in the very original script for Halloween. And I brought him in because I thought if it was going to be the finale of the series, you'll get the answer to that question about Nelson's husband in the second episode of season 3. I'm just going to say I will not answer it now, but you will get an answer then. I can't wait for people to see season 3 either. Is the camera back on? I'm just yammering. Oh, good. Good, okay. Ustream. Maybe I should do the pro account, so we wouldn't have that, and you wouldn't have to sit through commercials. Anyway. Commercials. I can't wait for season 3 either. It looks amazing. I really think season 3, hopefully, might be the season that kind of defines us, because it's it feels kind of grown up. Not grown up. I mean, we're always going to be immature bad boys, but commercials are in Spanish. Moss. Ay. Season 3. Let's see. What can I tell you about season 3? The episodes will be at least 10 minutes each, maybe longer. Some maybe slightly less. But we shot a lot. We shot a lot and we shot long, as much as we could, to the point where, like, the last 2 days of shooting, we were really kind of like consolidating and trying to, like, what if we have to cut scenes? Thankfully we didn't have to, but we found God bless our team, Arvin and John Cleland. I rarely give credit where credit's due, and it's related to John Cleland, Arvin Batista, Derek Stryker. Max DeBowen actually came back to do some second unit stuff, and I directed an episode 2, the Thanksgiving episode, which is the 3rd season of season 3. What can I tell you? In the ETA on season 3. That's what he said. When do I think it will air? Actually, let me ask you guys this question. It's going to be at least early fall. Irvin's about to direct a short film, and I'm doing a film and a play, and so some of the editing is going to start in the next couple of weeks. But season 3 starts the Monday after Halloween, and continues through to Christmas Day. And I timed it the way I was writing it so that it would play out in real time. That, the Thanksgiving episode would be 3 weeks in on the week of Thanksgiving. Well, actually, the Christmas Eve episode would be the week before Christmas, and the Christmas episode, the finale, would be the week of Christmas. And sorry, I'm reading some comments. So one of the thoughts we've had, if people can wait until the 1st of November, is to debut it then, and just each week play it out. So, the week of Thanksgiving, you see the guys at Thanksgiving. Yeah, one of the reasons Halloween was so late was that we had a lot of discussions about when they wanted to put it up. They wanted to wait to put that up till September because it's Halloween, and and we were arguing that yes, it's a Halloween special, but we're a serialized show, and even though it's on Halloween, the story is just the continuation of the story so far. It just happens that it's Halloween, and that we've been off the air for a year, and we can't really afford to be off the air a year and a half. God bless Wolf Video. God bless them. They actually. Once we kind of explained all that, agreed, and there it is. So what would you guys on Hulu? Actually, I think the thing with Hulu, it's great to be there, and I don't want to knock them, but you have to be kind of an established show to get there right away. Wolf has submitted the Halloween show to Hulu, for example, but it might be like 2 months before it's there. So what we're talking about with Wolf now, and what I hope they will do, is do sort of like how they did the Halloween show, is put it on their YouTube page. And one of the things I've said that we can do, and I hope it doesn't piss off our audience, is that if we do that, where they put a new episode each week on their YouTube page, that each week when the new episode debuts, the previous episode disappears. It goes off YouTube. There's no way of seeing it until the DVD comes out. I think they're concerned about, letting people milk the cow through the fence a bit too much, and I totally understand it. So I actually suggested that as a way to keep that from happening. So I'm hoping that will convince them. I think they initially wanted to wait until it was all done and then release it on Wolf on Demand, which would technically still be a web series, I think. Well, actually, I don't, because it's not. I think that the typical rule is it has to be 3 or more episodes to be considered a web series, a series. So there were some concerns about SAG and all that stuff. So we're, the earliest it'll be will be early fall, but it might, what do you think? Do you think we should play it out over real time? Talk to me, people. Come on, more questions, please. It's been half an hour. So season 3 has Rutanya Alda, who is fabulous to work with, and she's I can tell you, she's sort of an efficiency expert that ends up working in Nathan's office. I can tell you that much without giving too much away. And she's great. Mo Gaffney. Oh my God. She's in the season premiere, so you won't have to wait too long to see her. Actually, Rutanya, though, will be, I think she's in 4 episodes throughout the season. Mo is in the season premiere, and it's hysterical. Hysterical. I don't know how the editors are going to pick what to use, because she gave us different stuff, great stuff in every take, and it was all equally hysterical. And Catherine Lee Scott, who plays Muscles' mom, oh my God, she's wonderful. I can't. It's just they're all wonderful. Okay, favorite scene of the Halloween special. What was my favorite scene of the Halloween special? You know, I think it's it's just the scene outside the club when Hail Caesar, hail to you too, Mr. President, and when Nathan arrives. That, for the most part, is I think probably 98% scripted, 98% what I wrote in Indiana 3 years ago. That's not why it's my favorite. I don't know. It was fun. There's a lot of stuff I like about that. I love the shot of when we walk in and the camera pans past all the dancers. I love that. I love the scene with Bruce. Love the scene with Michelle. Michelle Ferrone. She's actually a big Wonder Woman comic book geek fan, and that was one of the last minute ideas of, like, how can we, if we're going to do it as a standalone, but it's not the finale, but we're still going to do it as a standalone. How can we make it, even bigger? And I thought, I know a woman who has a fabulous Wonder Woman costume, because she's come to our house a couple times in it, and she was thrilled to have an IMDb credit, Wonder Woman, Michelle Ferraro. So, so I like that. That was fun to shoot too. So good idea to air it in real time. As impatient as I am, and as much as I'd like to get it up as soon as possible, I don't think it's a bad idea to play it out in real time. Do you think the Halloween special, the thing that you saw today, would that have been more effective? Would you have felt it more if it had come out the week of Halloween? I mean, I think yes, but and if we hadn't been a year off the air, I would have totally agreed with Wolf. Yeah, I'll wait till fall at least. But oh, good. Now we're getting questions. Who is this very handsome Curtis Wayne Brown playing? Or can't I say yet? What can I say? Curtis plays a character named Jake Tyler. I can't say he's kind of he represents everything Nathan kind of wishes he was, meaning kind of grown up and mature, and all right, I'm going to have to nut sucking on this. An adult. Well, I guess I could say, I've said in other interviews what season 3 roughly was going to be about months ago. Basically, Nathan finds himself in a quandary. He meets this great guy, Jake Tyler, played by Curtis Wayne Brown, but he can't let go of the ghost of Damien. So it's kind of a love triangle where one of the characters is sort of a ghost. You're going to love Catherine Reba. Wait, you're scrolling too fast. Yeah. Reba, you're going to love Catherine. You totally see, you totally get where Muscles, it was really fun to see, watch that scene, and because it totally played the way I scripted it, that you kind of got a sense that, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree in Muscles' case, from his mom. You see where he gets his good looks, his healthy genes, his kind of idealistic sense, but his mom is kind of idealistic, but wizened with time, I guess. My concern is that she looks so good. I'm afraid people might think she looks too young to be Muscles' mom. But she's very classy. She was great when she arrived on set. We were shooting that day in this house on top of this huge, really kind of dangerous stone stairway. Probably about 20 steps. And I saw her, coming up the last 6 or 7 steps, carrying her wardrobe. I'm like, oh, Miss Scott, can I take this for you? Oh, no. And actually, at the end of one take, I heard her kind of, as the director said, okay, that's it, let's move on. And she and Jeffrey were walking out of the room. I heard her sort of say to Jeffrey, I I wish I had one more take. I was kind of raspy in that last one. So I went up to her and I'm like, pretending I didn't hear it. Oh, how did everything go? Did everything go okay? And she said, yeah, but, I wish we could do one more take. I was kind of raspy in the last one. And I said, if you want, I'll go talk to the director and we'll just do one more take. And she thought for a moment and went, no, it's fine. I don't want to be trouble. Very classy. Oh, look, it's the old me. Yeah, that's a fun scene. Fun to see it was the Rod at the end of the show. Again, having Rod show up was Steve Curtis's idea. In the original script, Brad was just going to be shaving and just accidentally do it. And but yeah, giving Rod, they gave us a chance to be a little more Halloween, not give it away. Because, you were going to get the idea of what he was doing, and then, he screams, and you see the razor fall that, you would have known right away, and there would have been no mystery for the boys. I mean, the boys wouldn't have known it. They would have still had a mystery, but the audience wouldn't have. So it was a smart idea on Steve's part. Iowa. If you think, have you ever had words where, like, if you just repeat them a lot, and then suddenly you're like, is that the word? That doesn't possibly sound right. Iowa, I think, is a good word for that. Iowa. Plus, we needed that car scene's actually probably of all the scenes in the Halloween show was probably cut the most. There's probably about half again as much to that scene, which we cut for time. There's a lot more kind of drama to it. Nathan reacting to the news, and also there were a few jokes we cut from it too. So it wasn't just that we were, just trying to move it along. I really wanted that scene to, like, really have an emotional wallop, But the thing is, after a year, it's hard to kind of get that, in terms of the storyline. And it was important to, keep it moving. So, yeah, I think the scene plays fine. It's fine. Although, the actor in me, of course, wants tears. If I could make any ending I wanted, budget to hell, what would I dream is the perfect ending for Old Dogs? God, that's a really good question, Jason. Okay, the camera wanted to just stop because it seems like it stops recording after a while. Tell me if the camera stopped. Hello. No. I know. I just I didn't answer the question. The original joke he had, I thought I had at the ending was, Carrie, can you see me? Jason, can you see me? Can you see me yet? I don't want to talk. You can't see me. I feel like Anne, Margaret, and Tommy. I'm not going to say a word until someone tells me they can hear and see me, because I don't want to. I do want to answer Jason's question. I am on, okay. And stop me if you've already heard this part. I thought about that we'd discover, since Nathan spent so much time seeing so many shrinks, that we would learn near the end that Nathan has split personality. And over the course of the last 2 or 3 episodes, discover that the other 3 dogs are all different alternate personalities of Nathan's, and at the end that they would all merge into Nathan and he would become one. Arvin's totally against that idea, and I never meant it too terribly seriously, but it's hard to come up with a serious finale these days. In fact, I think Entertainment Weekly just did an article about that very subject about a month or 2 ago. The pressure of staying true to the show, but like giving you something so bombastic that people will remember it positively for years to come. Really, Sex and City? That's the reason I like this split personality idea is because I think it's really the 4 guys, like the 4 gals in Sex and the City. The 4 of them combined make up one well-adjusted person. So. Just my opinion. One thing I've always talked about, I think, is that, one of the surest signposts of getting older is that you start to lose friends. And one thing I've thought about, when the show is over, is, having death be part of the storyline of the ending. But then it's like, these characters are like my kids. I mean, I do have an idea. I'm not going to say. But it's not a very fun up ending. I'm not sure. I mean, I kind of see the guys going to Palm Springs, or at least Nathan. I certainly would like Nathan to have a happy ending, but how realistic is that? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. How would I end it? I'll just sit here for 20 minutes pondering the idea whilst you all chat. I mean, I can think more of like storylines that I certainly want to do. One of the things with season 3, I mean, each time we've done a season, actually, the past 2 seasons, is the feeling like, okay, if this could very likely be the end of it, this could be our last season ever. So try to cram everything in that you want to do, just in case. And so this season 3 is actually very. It's funny. When we were shooting season 2, I knew it forwards and backwards. Also because I'd been in my head longer for a couple of years from Indiana. But I found when we were shooting season 3, I was constantly having to go, okay, this happens after that, but then before. Okay. Please don't end the series for a few more seasons. That would be my, okay, my dream. What I would like, I'd love to do it for 2 more seasons, and then do a feature film. I was surprised how many of the crew, when we were shooting season 3, were like, when do we start season 4? Okay. And then actually at the wrap party that we had Monday, a lot of people were like, maybe we should just do a feature. And I know Bruce Hart's very into the idea of doing a feature. And I would like to, when it feels like it's the time. I don't know if the end of season 3, because you guys are going to kill me. Season 3 does end with a cliffhanger. Because, when we're going to be on Out TV later in the year in Canada. And when we spoke to them, their president, I don't know if he was the president or the scheduling guy, but he was quite adamant about, there's no need to wrap it up. That's until you absolutely know it's over. In fact, season 3 did have the very last episode was a series finale, was New Year's Eve, and for both financial reasons, because we just couldn't afford to. It's pretty epic along the lines of Halloween and the wedding, and plus, it was final, and but that was written thinking of what I could do. It wasn't the blank check that Jason just asked me to imagine. That's It's hard to imagine. I think Muscles will probably have to find his doctor, and settle down and get married. I don't know. Come to Toronto and film a season. I would love to. We are so Dynasty. Well, yes. Well, Jason knows me well enough to know that it's Dynasty damage. It's funny. Half of me is very like sitcom oriented, and the other half is like soap. Season 3 is much more soap oriented. It's still a comedy. It's still sexy. I hope. One thing I will say, when we were editing season 2, I think we had gotten the second or third episode cut, and because it was by another director, we got episode 7, the pool fight episode, next in a rough cut. And it was interesting watching episode 7, having just seen episode 3 or 4, and going, you wouldn't have to see those episodes we haven't seen yet, and it feels like the story is just kind of where it was, So in season 3, if you miss a week, it'll take you 2 weeks to catch up. It's very plot driven, and every week something kind of happens. So yeah, it's there's dynasty damage in there. So, you know, Jason, find out if Toronto gives any tax credits or grants or anything. And if they'll give us a little money, we'll come up to Toronto, or at least one of the characters can. I love that about what's LA Complex. It's a Canadian show that was set in LA, that they would come down here to shoot some exteriors, but they mostly created it in Canada, and for the most part I thought they were pretty good at it. How long does it take to edit a complete season? I'm not sure about the complete season, because up to now it's always been week to week to week, and also each director does a rough cut of his episodes, and then Arvin does a fine cut. So a lot of it depends on timing, and how, because episodes are longer, we have the season split up on 2 different hard drives, so we could actually give one to one director and one to the next, so that in that way would speed it up. Let's see how long I could give you per episode. It's usually about 2 to 3 weeks per episode, and each director directed 2 episodes apiece, and except for me, and one of them directed 3. So I would have to get out the calculus, and they give wicked cash. Well, a lot of the stuff gets shot in Canada, and it would be very easy to have a storyline about why the guys go up there for some showbiz thing. One thing Kurt has told me is that if there's a season 4, he really wants Brad to reunite with his band and go on tour or something, and that was actually part of the series finale that we didn't shoot for season 3. So yeah, I'm not. Hang on one moment. You know where I'm going. I'll be right back. Don't go away. We'll be right back. See? So what do you guys think about Parnell? Our new Neil. Did you guys recognize him from Brad's 3-Way in the what was the second episode? Run, Leon, run like a woman. Hello. So we got about 10 minutes left. Questions. I love Parnell, and the thing about Parnell that I like. Yeah, he's warmer. I think, because it was never my, am I screaming? Does it sound like I'm screaming? I really probably don't have to talk that loud. One of the things I wanted with Neil and that storyline was I didn't want it to be a good guy, bad guy. I wanted it to be realistic, and that, it's just a question of people growing apart, that no one did, it's not like one person's to blame and one person's the victim. And Doug Spearman, bless his heart, I think he really saw Neil as a villain, and I know from some of our meetings certainly told me that he liked the idea of a black character being the villain. So yeah, I really love that Parnell's, and you'll see this more in season 3. I think you're going to have some empathy for him, and yeah, he's in several episodes in season 3. So, bye, Jason. Thanks for everything, Jason. Sleep well. So yeah, about 10 more minutes and we'll call it a night. It's been a long day. It's been a year since we've had a new episode up, so I forgot how exhausting it is to always be online, and you think you have it plotted out, and then, oh no, someone posted a blog, yay! And totally throws you off track. But it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Check all that later. Restore social stream. Well, I'm loving this new use stream. It just seems like every 5 minutes, one thing or another shuts out. So, hang on. Is that gone? Yes. So what else? Did you like the music? I love the song that's playing in the bar. Well, I loved all the music. I really did. And please check out their pages and In the next few days, we'll be like posting individual links and stuff. Herpes, the best way to end Bobby. You know, I'm expecting to get a little flack for that. Um, it was actually not, well, it was scripted actually from the very beginning. It wasn't going to be Bobby because Bobby was actually going to be gone by the end of the season 1, and Muscles is going to have a new boyfriend who had herpes and didn't tell him. But because Tom stuck around, and then because the timing of when he left is like, well, now we can use that. And he was aware of it actually when we shot the finale. I told him that was one of the options. I didn't want to tell him specifically because, you know, you never want to let the cat out of the bag. But I told him it was either going to be herpes or antidepressants that was killing his heart on so he couldn't have sex, or they were going to be uppers. Yeah, I think he wanted me to have it be uppers because, you know, being an anchorman, Bobby was very... Who did the music? The music was I Am Eve. I know, I should say, I'd say check out these artists. I don't tell you who. I Am Eve. I-A-M-E-V-E. All one word, capital letters. Did the song in the little flashback at the beginning. She has one of the songs in the nightclub. Taiwo Hurd, who's also our sound guy, did I love it, the song in the club that you hear for the most part when the guys first arrive and are walking around checking it out. And Patria Jacobs did the song. It's actually the same song but different versions of it. Do the Pink under the lunch scene with the 4 guys, and then it's also the song you hear when the guys are outside the club when they're leaving, arguing. I love that Do the Pink, and I've asked her specifically, you know, and I sent her the script for season 3 actually, and told her, you know, the themes and what happens without being specific, and asked her to create some stuff for that, and she's on board, so she's great. And, you know, who's to say Bobby's ended, you know? But I asked Tom if he wanted to come back for another season. He passed, but it was certainly not any kind of like, I quit, you're fired thing. I mean, it was all good terms, and the door is always open. And I would actually love to have Bobby come back. So, one of the, you know, and as Ross says, it's not the end of the world. I kind of wanted to humanize herpes a bit. Is Muscles going to have a new love interest? Yeah, of course. In fact, I'm trying to figure out how to say this without giving away too much. His new love interest kind of drives him over the edge. Interpret that as you will. All the characters in season 3 really have real kind of crisis of faith. They all find themselves, you know, because of certain circumstances that happen in season 3, kind of like really question. Yeah, season 3 is going to be on DVD. Our deal with Wolf is through season 3, so they'll season 3 will be out on DVD, and that's one of the reasons I keep saying, you know, please comment, post, share, let Wolf see, because once season 3's out there, if we haven't really kind of proven ourselves, we really don't want to do any more Indiegogo. I mean, we've asked you guys so much, too much, and so yeah, if it can't really sustain itself from the DVD and the streaming and that stuff. So yeah, season 3 will be on DVD. Well, I would like, yeah, you're right. You know, if I had my druthers, if I ran Wolf Video, I would do the whole thing in one package, seasons 1 through 3, because again, it's all the same year. Or it's not even a whole year; it's 6 months. So it kind of feels like a soap opera in that sense. I remember, you know, back when I would watch soaps, you know, kind of marveling about how they could stretch one day for weeks at a time. And some soaps are much more like today's today, tomorrow's tomorrow. But yeah, we've stretched 6 months over a very long period. Ian, I'm glad someone asked about Ian. Ian actually had to drop out. He was on board. We did the table read 2 weeks before we started shooting, and you know, he's doing General Hospital and was opening in a play which I think is still running, Lion in Winter, the starring role at the Colony Theater, I think. and God bless him, sent me an email a couple days after the reading saying, unfortunately he had to drop out. But like Tom, the door's open. I'd love to bring Christoph back at some point. So we'll see. If there's a life past season 3, we'll see what we can do. Where can you see the episodes? You can see them actually. If you're into one-stop shopping, you can just go to our website, olddogsnewtricks.com. There's a row of links at the top. Click on episodes, and they're broken down into seasons. And there are links that will take you to each episode on Hulu. Or if you, well, I guess there's also one-stop shopping too. You can go to hulu.com/old-dogs-and-new-tricks, and the word "and" is spelled out. And they play there too. You can go to wolfondemand.com for streaming or to download it. And am I still on? I seem to have gone black. No, we're still on, right? Okay. Let's restore social stream. So yeah, that's where you can see it. Like us on Facebook. If you're really new to the show, like us on Facebook at, oh god, of course I don't have that page up, so I can't just rattle it off like a teleprompter. Facebook.com/OldDogsTheSeries. And you can follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/ODNT So welcome to the pack. FB11646366625. Yes, please buy the DVD. Again, if you can afford to buy the DVD or rent it or download it at Wolf on Demand. That's the stuff that really talks. That's money talks in Hollywood. But they're also they're telling me both Wolf and Hulu are looking at how many likes that we get for each episode, how many comments, how much engagement. Engagement is huge, and if to be quite honest, the followers that we do have are great. There just don't seem to be quite enough of them yet. So yeah, we got to ratchet that up at least during season 3, and I think we can. A lot of people in the show, and I'm too superstitious to say it. And thank you, Reba, for watching the DVD several times. I'm too superstitious to say it, but a lot of people who've worked on season 3 say that it's the best season yet, and think that it's gonna perform and deliver. The one thing that we did have, you'll notice in season 3, we really only have the names are all women. One thing we noticed about season 2, other than Tom and Ian, our male guest stars didn't really give us any bumps. In fact, I'm kind of surprised about that. And as it kind of just evolved as I was writing season 3, the thought that gay men actually love their divas. They show up for their divas. So. Season 3 is Year of the Woman on Old Dogs and New Tricks. So it is 9 o'clock. I still have work to do, of course. And it's fun to be back. Fun to be back doing another live chat. And again, I'll end it with my usual plea of, if you can afford the DVD, please go to YouTube and leave a comment on every episode. Click like on every episode, and I won't ask for anything more. Also on YouTube, on the WeHo page, the Wolf YouTube page, the episode's actually on. You can watch it on Facebook. That's great to watch it. But if you can actually go to the YouTube page and leave a comment and like it there, that's just as important. So it's all about engagement. And we need people to be engaged. So anyway, I'm going to disengage, and thank you so much. It was fun to have another chat, and I hope you all have a great night. And talk to you soon, I hope. Bye.